Hello, this is Joanne Landers. I would like to give you a tour of an online professional development class that I created for transplant nurses using course sites by Blackboard. To access the courses from the menu on the left, I find the titles of various courses. The course I will give you a tour of is the Nursing Care of Pediatric Transplant Patient. First on the menu is the home page that can be used to make announcements and list assignments and due dates. And the students can access other parts of the course from the home page. I used it originally to make an announcement to students the week before the class, stating the date, time, and location, and it also helped them find the list of pre-course reading materials. Next on the menu is the introduction section. There's a photo of me, the instructor, and a voice recording that I made to introduce myself to the students. There is also an introduction using an avatar from Voki. Next on the menu is a section that lists the pre-course reading material, as I mentioned. It also gives a description of the reading material and an estimate of the time needed to prepare for the class. There are some more educational materials. There is some text pages from two different textbooks about renal function and renal diseases. There is some text pages from a pediatric solid organ transplantation textbook, and there is a journal article about pediatric fluid and electrolyte balance. Students were instructed to review these materials prior to the class, as mentioned. Next on the menu is a course description with objectives. Included also is the copy of the class flyer that was distributed and posted prior to the class. You can see the colorful flyer here with a description and your colorful kidneys, giving the date and time and location, and highlighting some of the learning objectives. It also has contact information to reach me. Returning to the course objectives and description, it's described as a 2-hour professional development class for pediatric kidney transplant nurses. It describes Module 1 and Module 2, and then there is a detailed list of the course objectives. Next is the course outline. That is a detailed description of the content of the course. Moving down the menu, we come to Module 1, which also has an avatar introducing this module, which is a review of kidney function and kidney diseases. There is also a humorous video about the functions of the kidney that was obtained from YouTube. There is a folder with various kidney function tools. For example, there is customized flashcards to be used about the functions of the kidney and kidney diseases. There is a list of lab values from the National Kidney Foundation. There is a GFR online calculator link with 3 case scenarios that can be used to practice calculating GFR. There is a electrolyte and lab reference tool, and there is a reference tool of pediatric hemoglobin levels. Turning to the main area of Module 1, after the Kidney Function Tools folder, there is a 2-minute mini-teach, a recording and videotape of me presenting the definition and importance of the glomerular filtration rate, GFR, and why it's important for the assessment of the progression of kidney disease. And that was created using AFRANET. Next, there is a folder about fluid and electrolyte management with several tips and tools. And finally, there is a test of the learner's knowledge of the important kidney functions and kidney diseases in the pediatric population. In Module 2, we talk about the pediatric kidney transplant patient and care of the patient following transplant. I'll give you a sample of our Voki avatar, who is again introducing this module.
Hi, this is JoJo. I'm 15 years old. Your instructor asked me to speak to you about my kidney transplant. I had nephrotic syndrome that caused my kidneys to fail. I was on dialysis for a few years while I waited for my new kidney. Did you know that there are about 100,000 people waiting for kidney transplants? Kids wait longer than adults. When I had my transplant, my nurses were awesome. They taught me how to take care of my new kidney. Now I can go to school and hang with my friends. Please read the great article that your instructor posted about nursing care of kids with transplants. Thanks.
So that was a way to introduce each module, and the avatar JoJo also gives a wrap-up at the end. So there is also a folder here, helpful tools for learning about post-op kidney transplant nursing care. There is a PowerPoint that was recorded with Screencast-O-Matic that is a presentation about post-op kidney transplant care for the pediatric patient. There is also a motivational video included here, Stephanie's story about a little girl who went through a kidney transplant. In this module, there is also a simulation session. So this piece describes the scenario that will be used in the simulation session for the learners. Following that is a simulation lab competency checklist that lets the learners know what their objectives will be in the simulation session and what competencies will be assessed. And finally, at the end of the module, there is a test, a written test, care of the pediatric kidney transplant patient. So then there is a section, professional resources for transplant nurses, that gives some website links for professional organizations for transplant care. And one of them is UNOS, the United Network of Organ Sharing, the National Kidney Foundation. There is also a website, ABTC, which is the American Board of Transplant Certification, that helps the learners who take this class learn how to become certified as a transplant nurse. And now we come to the wrap-up with our avatar JoJo again. And there is finally a section where the student can print a course evaluation to be presented to the instructor, and then they can receive 1 nursing contact hour at the end of the course. I did include at the and section for a discussion board that would remained opened for about 2 weeks after the class, where the nurses could discuss their experience in the class and talk about any situations or scenarios that they encountered along the way where some of the knowledge learned in the class was helpful. That is my online course that I created for professional development for nurses who are pediatric transplant nurses. Thank you for listening.